By what?
Schedule.
Yes. We are live on YouTube. Just going to try and get Twitch on.
All of the post-16 providers in Sussex, so it really is fantastic. Take a look around at each other, and I'm sure by the end of the day, here's a challenge for you. Try and have met at least 5 people, if not 10. And there might even be small subgroups of it, who knows? But most importantly, you're all doing the same job in terms of really supporting our Sussex's most important cohort in terms of 16 to 18-year-olds, and supporting them out of school and supporting them through this most critical part of their journey. And hosting it here at the university is a really fantastic symbol in terms of the work that the colleges are doing with our local HE providers, and really cementing and building on partnerships that have existed for many years, but really taking that to the next level and again for the benefit of our many young people. So we've got a really fantastic day planned, lots of amazing speakers, lots of breakout sessions, plenty of time in the breaks and the lunch for you to fulfil that challenge, minimum of 5, hopefully 10 new friends, professional colleagues. I don't mind what you call yourselves by the end of the day, but please do try and mix and speak to each other, and hopefully we can start a real engine of energy. I can already feel it. The energy. It is hot. I know, but it's nice and air conditioning here, and I think we've got a great venue for today. I know that it's such a busy time of year, and I'm so grateful that you did make your way here this morning, and you are giving up your time. I'm so grateful for the colleagues here, for our speakers who are giving up their time and who have done a lot of work in preparing for today. Today is about looking at how we don't just use technology, how we don't just adapt to technology, but how we turn some of these new tools into really important parts of how we change teaching and learning, and we lead on this. Today is about how we lead the
our beautiful campus. This is one of the newer buildings, our business school, which has only been here for about 20 years and is now the top business school in the country in terms of research income. People don't think of Sussex as having the best business school in the country for research, but we do. But have a look at some of our old buildings, the Basil Spence Heritage Campus, which is English Heritage listed, the library, pop into the library. We always welcome sixth formers, FE students from around the region to come and study in our library. It's an open space. And I quite often get emails from parents who say it's quite transformative for their son or daughter to come and spend some time working in our library. It kind of opened up the possibility of university to them. So please do have a look in the library so that you can encourage students to come and use it. It's a beautiful building. Also maybe have a look at our meeting house. In other universities that would probably be called the chapel, but at Sussex it's our meeting house. It's a non-denominational space, absolutely beautiful, cylinder shape, with beautiful stained glass and an amazing eye looking down on you. And you'll find there are a lot of cylinders in the architecture around campus, a lot of circles, which I think really speaks to the kind of ethos of Sussex, which is one of bringing people together in a kind of in an equal way and in an inclusive way. And it's really important to us that you're having your first big event like this at Sussex. We're really delighted. At Sussex University, we're looking at new ways of collaborating with FE colleges around the region. And we're talking at the moment with FE Sussex, as 3 universities in Sussex, about forming a new strategic alliance, FE and HE, working much more closely together. And so that's really exciting, and it's wonderful to have you having this conference here today. And there's going to be a big focus on digital technologies, and so just to kind of give you a few thoughts before I disappear and let you get on with the real business of the day. Sussex was there really at the very beginning, I think, of the digital revolution, the informatics revolution. So we were founded in 1961, and from our earliest days, there was work going on in artificial intelligence at Sussex. You may have heard that Geoffrey Hinton was awarded the Nobel Prize last November for his early work in AI. That early work was done here on this very campus at Sussex. He was a postdoctoral researcher at Sussex doing that work that eventually led to him getting the Nobel Prize. And then the other sort of Sussex fact is that the first ever transatlantic email was sent from the University of Sussex in 1973 to the US. That was long before any of us were using email, and it's probably the bane of many of our lives, how many emails were coming during the course of this day for all of you. But that very first transatlantic email was sent from Sussex. Sussex was there at the beginning of the informatics revolution. And right now on our campus there is amazing quantum technology being developed. The first blueprint for a quantum computer was developed on this campus just along the physics department. So there's really amazing work going on here. Cutting edge research, and we bring our students into that from the very beginning. So if you've got students interested in physics, in quantum computing, they can come to Sussex and immediately be embedded with our research teams as undergraduates. So enough from me. You're here to talk about digital technologies and to network with each other. I think it looks like a really great programme of talks. But I think as Rebecca said, so much of the importance of this day is the networking that you do with each other, the building of relationships across colleges, across institutions, and having an opportunity a bit outside the everyday to meet with each other and think. So have a really good day. I know it's incredibly hot already, and although Rebecca generously said it's air conditioned, it still feels quite hot in here to me. You're not on the beach, which I think deserves enormous congratulations. You're here for a serious conference. So I hope it's a good day. And do wander around campus and experience a little bit of the university. But have a great day, and thank you for coming.
Yes, that's right. Hello, how you doing?
Hello.
So my name is Chris Hogg, and it's an absolute honour to come and speak here in front of you today. I understand that we're also being streamed on Twitch and YouTube, so if there are any students there, it's time to get up. Well done, well done. So why am I here? I'm here because I want to tell you a story. Try to move over here to the microphone. I'm going to tell you a story about something that happened to me a year ago, and hopefully it will take us on a quest and a journey which might help kind of help you with some of the questions that are in your mind about this new revolution in technology that seems to be impacting everything at this moment in time. So whether you're at peak AI, you can't stand another word about it, or you're really interested, hopefully you're going to get something. So, my name is Chris Holt, and I teach this place here, which is Royal Holloway, which, if there were university rankings for the most flammable building, this would be absolutely number one. So, yes, unfortunately there aren't those kind of rankings, but hey ho. My teaching got weird about a year ago when I was teaching a class on AI in the Media Arts Department, which is like a film and TV school, and 4 students just walked out. They were like, oh, we're just at the beginning of our journey, and what is the point? Like, we're designers, we're digital designers, and look, this can do what we do in the click of a button, and they were just like, we're out, see ya. And I was just like, I really had no idea what to say to them at the time, but I think it put me on a quest. And I was like, right, I'm going to find out what I'm going to tell these students. And so that's what you're going to get from me today. You're going to get the benefit of a year's quest trying to answer some anxious students. So, the first thing, where are we at in terms of context? Who's using AI in the teaching profession? And this is what we know. 60% of teachers are using AI on a weekly basis, and they're typically using it to differentiate lesson plans for the individual needs of students in their classes. They're also using it for marking. And one teacher told me, I've got my life back. I can have dinner with my partner. And there's got to be something pretty good about that, to tell you the truth. And it reminded me of an old African expression which says, if you don't have a donkey, then you are a donkey. Where else are we actually? So, yeah, we're in this world. We're in the world of the attention economy. And back in the 1970s, a very clever man called Herbert A. Simon said this: a wealth of information creates a poverty of attention. And the need to allocate that attention efficiently amongst the overabundance of information sources that might consume it. A long sentence, but considering one of the maladies of our age is attention deficit, it's not all our fault. It's kind of built into the systems that we're using. So this is how I started the lecture with the students. I was like, this is how I felt AI landed in our world. It landed like an alien intelligence in the middle of the market square and just, disguised itself as a fun fair. And everybody could get involved. And 2 years down the line, we're still trying to work out this. Like, what the hell is it? Is it a god? A monster? A helper? A slave? Now, I kind of figure it's a mixture of all of those things. And I'm a playwright, so you're going to get totally a playwright's point of view of all of these things today. Very arty, not very scientific. But how a playwright's job is to try and say, what the hell do we do now? And to give you a story to speak about it. I worked in tech a long time, and I kind of understood what the students were doing because we've been burned before. The internet, early 90s, everybody has a website, brilliant. Fast forward 25 years, we seem to have 5 platforms with the same videos going round and round and round and round again. And the whole game seems to be, how long can you keep somebody on their phone? And that ain't ethical. And one of the things I know about teaching technology for 20 years is this, is that for everything that it gives you, it takes something away. We are in the world of magic and loss. And so I was really adamant to those students, as what I wanted them to get to was the place where they could find what's called their ludic limits. What are ludic limits? Ludic limits happens every time you go to a theme park, right? Every time you go to the theme park and go, I like that ride, but I hate that ride. It's when you find the limits of your play. And so I was telling the students, experiment. Try and find where you feel comfortable with these new generative AI tools that are going to have an impact on your life. We didn't really get that far. But, personally speaking, as a playwright, I found my ludic limit this moment, about 3 weeks ago, when this video came out.
So this is all AI generated now?
Yes.
Did you notice the pause? I'm sorry, I have to go back for a second. Did you notice the pause? The pause is what we use as a playwright. If you want to make a character decide whether they're telling the truth or a lie, you give them a pause. And there was the AI pausing, thinking, giving the illusion. And I think that marks the moment where we can really not trust the things that we see with our eyes when it comes to online. Now, if we can't trust the things that we see with our eyes online, where on earth do we put our trust? And I thought long and hard about this, and I think we put our trust in the people around us and the institutions that we have on an everyday basis, on our sixth form college, on our university, on our place of work. That's where we need to place our trust, on our social relationships. where are you on your journey of trust? So what is it? Is AI and these generative tools the biggest plagiarism machine that ever existed, or is it the store of all human creativity? Somewhere you have some thoughts. This is the trust curve, right? And what we're going to do quickly is AI, completely unrelated to what it is, completely bought into it and have got a lot of enforcement chips at home. Just stick up your hands to let you know where you are on the kind of AI trust curve. So who is aware but confused? Okay, that's cool. What about understand it but have a negative perception? Yeah, we're getting to about 35–40%. What about kind of really bought into it? Again, it's kind of a little bit less than the kind of, so we're on a journey, each of us is on a journey. But one of the things I do know, right, is when you kind of like, trust is our collective intelligence. Trust is the thing that allows us to, like, just not have to firefight the whole time. There are companies out there with no resources but tons of trust who are very wealthy. There's companies out there who have masses of resources but low levels of trust and are always struggling to innovate. Trust between us is the thing that we really, really need. And so it's something that we need to protect. Do you know what I did? When AI first came out, do you know what I did? Because I'm a weirdo and I'm a playwright. I said, I got my 1986 copy of the Argos catalogue here, right? I don't split it down, but go with it. It's a rare item because it's very good on eBay. Went to page 226, which is one of the toy pages. Anybody can borrow this at and I stuck it to AI, and it kind of said, I said, generate me some other versions of this. And so it just gave me this completely other 80s versions that never existed. So we've got kind of like a female Dolph Lundgren there, you know. Should have happened. She should have fought in Rocky 7. So just by playing with it, it gave me a clue as to how it could be working in my teaching. Like, it can create multiverses of anything. And so, you know, I was just like, okay, well maybe it can help me create multiverses of plays. And so I went and spoke to Britain's like one of its finest playwrights, Simon Stevens, and he said, yeah, like it can do stuff with plays, because like the Greeks invented the stage, and it was their technology for analysing human consciousness, you know, and you know, they allowed us to stare into suffering without blinking. It was a genius invention. And I was like, okay, I'm onto something. I thought maybe that could help me restore the students. And so the first thing I did with the students is I got them to have conversations with Dionysus. Because you can do that with AI. I threw a sheet over the ghost of the machine and Dionysus appeared. And like that made the student enter a play space. And when you're in a play space, you're in a creative space. And when you're in a creative space, you are in a learning space. So wow, it creates multiverses and you can create ghosts and monsters. But then like, what happens if you start playing it? And this is the crazy thing. I stuck in one of Shakespeare's plays, and suddenly I could look at the play from every angle. It was almost as if I'd taken a 2D object and it became like, it didn't get performed in AI, it kind of got reformed. You know, it didn't start to read the script as kind of just build a data object out of it. And it kind of crystallized all the possibilities that it could possibly take on. And for me, as a playwright, super excited. And it was like, maybe Shakespeare named the globe for a good reason. Back to the students. Right, spoke to this guy, Elias Lamy, had Google DeepMind. I said, the students walked out, what should I do? And he said, don't worry, it's just like photography. But that was like not quite true. Like in photography, like remember, everything just shuffled around. He didn't stop anybody painting or anything like that. But ultimately, it's not quite the same because it's not photography, because like a lot of these images don't use a camera. Right? That's weird. And also, it's not just photography, it's actors, it's performance, it's music, it's everything all at the same time. And every time you go into one of Google's products and you create a video, you press the remix button, and then you see what they're going to say. They're going to say, look, we've done nothing to culture, but you can remix it. You have to pay us, but you can remix it in any different way that you want to. To reassure the students again, I spoke to another creative guy. This is one of my favourite guys that ever existed. Dr. Taki Noguchi, probably the most creative man that I've ever met. He writes down 50 brand new ideas every single day. And I was like, could you reassure the students? You know, he's got so many notebooks. He's got 12 patents, 18 books, and he even knows how many good ideas he's had. He's had 0.005 top 3 good ideas are about 1700. I have to introduce you to them.
Okay, thank you, Chris Fox, my friend. I'm the founder of Idea Marathon System. Idea Marathon System is that you have to use your brain every day. Not today, not the 1 week. Every day you have to use your brain. And write your own thinking as much as possible into notebooks. You see, be prepared for the AI already here, out here. So you have to have you have to control AI like, bunch of sheep. And you have to use a sheep control stick with pen, like this. So you have to use show stick to the sheep, and the sheep will move. Be prepared. You have to brighten your creativity every day. Then you never get afraid of AI is here. Okay, and I have to show, I promised to Chris, I will show my 40 years notebook, but this is 20 years, half of my notebooks over there. Okay, another shelf in another room. But 580 notebooks in 41 years. And this one is just a part of the stick, about 1,200 empty vial. Okay, thank you very much. Bye. Bye now.
Bye. Okay, thank you, Takio. He'll have his biggest idea of his 104th birthday. We're all invited, apparently. Okay, so let's listen to the theory. Marshall McLuhan, he appears in Annie Hall, great moment at cinema, and he said these 4 things. And I want you to think about this over the day, right? Which is that AI, he suggests that any new foundational technology is going to have 4 impacts in your life. It's going to enhance something that you do. It's going to cancel something that you do. It's going to bring back something, this is a weird one, from the ancient past that you have forgotten that we ever used to do. And finally, it's going to become so successful, it will have negative consequences. And what makes this all so confusing is that these all happen at exactly the same time. So, what's going to be enhanced teaching? So you can tutor at scale for underserved students, you can generate tools for art and coding, you can have adaptive learning paths for different students, you can translate to so many different languages. Factual recall becomes less important as AI supplies all the answers. Teachers are no longer the sole authority in the room. AI can know more facts than the teacher and in many more languages. Access to high quality resources is no longer limited to schools. I could go through all this all day, and I will send you all of these slides, but I've got a very limited amount of time. There's one more point I really want to kind of take with you, but this is a good framework for kind of untangling all the strands of what AI could be. One of the most important things, what it bring back from the past is the power of the word. We will be talking to our computers, we will be coding with our voices. This is going to happen very, very soon. And do you know what? The word abracadabra means I create as I speak. Only 12 generations ago, we used to believe in incantations and spells, the 1700s. And something of that is coming back because of the power of our words. And so, we may think we're entering the age of quantum computing, but do you know what? Maybe we're entering for our students the age of conjuring, where the ability to create a spell, where the ability to create a prompt becomes really, really important. By giving students a sense of power of their words, we give them a sense of agency. Do you know why this Harry Potter is so absolutely popular? It's because the spells in that book give the children power that they don't have in real life. There's something in that for all of us. So, whether God becomes God wants a helper or slave, the question is what are we going to become as teachers? And my view is just get weird with it, experiment.
Is this really a good use of all that computing power?
Good enough, you know what I mean? So, anyway, here are some random thoughts. In the world of overabundance of information, then teachers curate information into knowledge. In a world where the answers are easy, asking questions gets hard, and so teachers can teach thinking. What would happen if we considered a curriculum to be a world that we run? And if I can turn a play into a 360 object, can I create a game that creates wisdom? So there's a new job out there in this world, you wouldn't believe it, but it's called World Runner. And they have them at Disney, they have them a lot, and they look after IP. And so consequently, a world runner absolutely has to look after a world. And so I see your roles as teachers in ways in this modern AI age as a world runner. I mean, I'm sure that this is not original, people have said this to you before, but you have a syllabus which is a world, and you're kind of in charge of it. And AI allows you to make it fun. Our students these days are playing new kinds of games. We used to play Monopoly and try to win. They come back week after week to play Dungeons and Dragons. And the aim of Dungeons and Dragons is not to win. The aim of Dungeons and Dragons is to see how creative we can be to keep the whole thing going. Which is a great metaphor for life at the moment. How creative can we be to keep this whole thing going? So, in this world, you need dungeon masters. And so a dungeon master is somebody that kind of understands the rules of the game, and they decide on the they guide people through, and they help people have the most meaningful, fun experience. How long do we have? We don't have very long, do we? I think 1 minute. In which case, I'm going to say, if you have time or energy or inclination, I'll be running a session on teachers as games masters in a few minutes' time. But let's just conclude with this. So, what is a weird teacher? It's somebody that is constantly trying to find out ethical limits in a very unethical technological world. Teacher, a sorcerer of prompts, that vibes with remix culture, that sees teaching materials as multiverses, that understands that any 2D text or historical document can be turned into a hologram, that turns viewers into players, that has ghosts as teachers, that gives student agency, and sees themselves as a games master and a joker. And so, thank you very much. If you'd like to have more information or just go on a journey, well, I'm constantly tracking stuff on social. It's just a work in progress. But thank you very much indeed.
Thank you so much, Chris. That was a wonderful opening to our conference, and I am fully convinced that the answer is to get weird. But and I hope everybody else is too. So I'm sure you've got lots of questions for Chris, and I'm sure that there are lots of ideas that you'd like to discuss with him. But this is sort of my opportunity now just to tell you about the format of our conference today. But first I'll introduce myself. So my name's Janet Clark. I'm the CEO of Sussex, so it's put the event on today, and Rebecca Conroy is the chair of, which you mentioned earlier. We've got loads of brilliant speakers, and to make sure that we have enough time to talk and they're not listening to me or other people introducing, we're going to have a sort of TEDx style format. So each of the speakers will have around 15 minutes, and I'm just going to introduce them very simply. But throughout the day, in the breaks, the breakout sessions, and most importantly, much later in the day when we have our AI panel, you'll have the opportunity to ask questions and speak to the speakers. So do take those opportunities. So I think without further ado, on that note, I would like to introduce our next speaker, which is Laura Heath from Body Swaps.
Hello everyone. I'm just going to quickly get technically set up before we begin.
Nope.
And the reason why this question is so important is because soft skills are some of the most in demand, but also some that are critically kind of missing in key areas. So we're hearing feedback from educators, from employers. Students have great technical skills and great qualifications, and they know how to go out and do what they're designed or hoping to do. However, they don't have the confidence potentially to go out and do it, or they don't know how to engage with one another, collaborate, or communicate professionally. So alongside that need for soft skills, with the rise of AI, with the post-COVID world, they're also the most in demand. These are the skills that employers are looking for and that your students are hoping to develop. So our answer as Body Swaps was to provide a new learning experience. So it's an experiential platform that provides the scalability of e-learning through VR, PC and mobile, alongside the one-to-one impact of tutoring. So each student goes through their own journey. They get personalised actionable insights, and this allows them to then go forward into that real-world scenario with increased confidence. So in practice, for those of you who haven't yet encountered Body Swaps, this is a learning journey that goes through gamified learning, introducing them to the skills, building up their confidence before they have an opportunity to practice. So put what they've just learned into their own words. Then, where our name comes from, they have a body swap. This is where they change places with someone else in the scenario and understand how they came across from their perspective. Once they've gone through that reflection process, they then have a moment to debrief, understand from AI feedback where they were strong, where they could improve, and then continue that process until they do feel ready to tackle this with a real human. This process could be a single skill that they really needed to focus on and repeat and repeat and repeat, or it could be a series of learning that you have assigned to your learners that goes through a range of skills. One of the key goals when we started with FE Sussex was to assist educators. One of the key ways that we've been doing this at Body Swaps is providing a plug and play solution. These are skills from communication all the way through to customer service, designed by subject matter experts, partnered with learning design experts to put this together into a library that you can assign and focus on what you do best, allowing them to practice in this space with the skills that they then need to go on and put into action. A critical element of the student experience is the psychological safety provided by this format. So you're providing a space where students can try new approaches. They can get things wrong. They're not set up as a peer or an educator where they might feel self-conscious. They can go through this process with no real-world repercussions. So that's something we call a flight simulator for soft skills. This is a space dedicated for their own personal development. It's focused on practice and perspective taking, and only they can understand how they can then progress through and do better next time. So this is the Body Swaps that I believe most of you will know. And we've had the last academic year where you've already reached over 1,000 learners with over 1,500 training sessions, and this is just in the app, so this is just what we've captured in direct training with the platform. You also have lots of workshop sessions and conversations across the colleges. But with that in mind, I wanted to take a moment to focus on what you've done in this year. So you've reached core skills across all of our categories. Some of them focus on employability. We've had healthcare programs, public speaking and presentation skills for 25. So yes, yes, that's great. I also want to pose a question to you, which is, in Body Swaps, we have something that we call a whale. A whale is a partner of ours that's reached over 1,000 sessions themselves. We've got whales all over the UK and North America. We also have a kraken, which is 10,000 sessions, that's Sheffield Hallam. So what might I ask you is, who will be the first FE Sussex whale? So we'd love to come back this time next year, and maybe we'll be celebrating and have a little gift ceremony to celebrate your achievements. But the opportunity is open to all of you here today. So I've spent enough time, I think, talking about the past, and we'll look now at the future, which is actually